On paper, the 2026 Kia EV3 looks like an absolute game changer. I mean, it's got the style, it's promising some incredible range, and it's supposed to be affordable. But we all know the spec sheet doesn't tell the whole story, right? So today we're going to cut right through all the marketing noise and get to the reality of this car.
Okay, let's dive right in. The US electric vehicle market is, well, it's desperately crying out for something exactly like the EV3. Right now, if you're a buyer, you're pretty much caught between two extremes. You've got your premium, expensive models like a Tesla Model Y, or you've got budget options that, let's be honest, often feel stripped down. They sacrifice range, or comfort, or quality. So the big question is, can the EV3 really thread that needle?
So here's our game plan for today. We're going to start with the big promise this car represents. Then we'll get into the hype, all the exciting features Kia wants you to see. After that, though, it's time for a reality check. We'll look at 5 key problems you might face as an owner. And then we'll wrap it all up with a final verdict on who this car is actually for. Right, so just to really hammer home that core problem, the US market has this huge gap. You can spend a whole lot of money for a fantastic, do-it-all EV, or you can save a bunch of cash but have to live with some pretty serious compromises. There just hasn't been that compelling, no excuses option right there in the sweet spot. And this is where Kia is making its move. The EV3 is designed from the ground up to be that just right vehicle. It's taking aim at upcoming affordable crossovers from huge brands like Chevy, Volvo, and even Toyota. The whole point is to make owning an EV feel accessible without making you feel like you've taken a step down. Okay, now for the fun part. Let's dig into why this car is generating so much buzz. This is the stuff you'll see in the shiny brochures, and you know what? It's really, really compelling. It all kicks off with this design philosophy Kia calls opposites united. Now, I know, it sounds a little abstract, a bit like marketing speak, but the goal is actually pretty cool. They want to blend a strong, almost rugged SUV shape with these super clean, futuristic details. The result is a look that's somehow both tough and high-tech at the same time. And you can totally see that philosophy in action when you look at the details. Check out the star map lighting. They say it's inspired by constellations. And those really bold, squared-off wheel arches. I mean, come on, this is a design that is absolutely going to stand out in a sea of look-alike crossovers. And that focus on design carries right on through to the inside. Kia's whole goal here was to create less of a traditional, cramped cockpit and more of a minimalist, open living space. It's super clean, it's modern, and it is packed with tech, including that absolutely enormous panoramic display. So, this number. This is the one that has everybody talking. With its long-range battery, the EV3 is rated for up to 605 kilometers on the European test cycle. That translates to about 375 miles. For a compact, affordable SUV, that is a massive, massive figure. And the other specs are pretty impressive, too. A charge from 10 to 80%, just 31 minutes. And the 0 to 62 mile per hour time is a very respectable 7.5 seconds. So it's zippy enough for daily driving, and it's not going to make you wait forever on a road trip. But this is where we have to pump the brakes. A car is so much more than its spec sheet, and this quote from Car Insider just perfectly captures that pivot from the initial hype to the day-to-day reality of actually living with a vehicle. So let's get real. We're going to break down 5 potential problems. Now, these aren't necessarily deal breakers for everyone, but they are absolutely crucial things you need to know, things you definitely won't find highlighted in a glossy brochure. First up, we'll look at what that amazing range figure really means here in the US. Then we'll dig into the charging tech. We're going to question the interior's longevity, assess the performance, and finally, we'll tackle the biggest unknown of them all, the price. First up, range. That incredible 375-mile number comes from the European WLTP test cycle, which is, well, famously optimistic. Here in the US, with our higher highway speeds, more extreme hot and cold weather, and heavy AC use, that number is going to drop a lot. A more realistic, stress-free, usable range is probably going to be closer to 220 to 240 miles. Now, that's great for city and suburban life, but it's not exactly ideal for those long cross-country road trips. Next is charging, and this is a really big deal. To keep the cost down, the EV3 does not get Kia's amazing, top-of-the-line 800-volt charging system that you find in the more expensive EV6 and EV9. It uses a more modest architecture. So what does that mean for you? It means that while it's not slow, a meaningful charge on a road trip is going to take you around 25 to 35 minutes, and that's noticeably longer than its pricier siblings.
Okay, let's talk about that interior, because at first glance, it looks fantastic. Seriously, it's modern, it's clean, and it gives off this really premium vibe. The design itself is an absolute home run. But here's the trade-off. To hit that target price, the materials are good, not great. You can expect a lot of hard plastics in areas you touch all the time, some fabric trim where you might be hoping for soft touch surfaces, and yeah, those glossy piano black finishes that are just notorious for getting scratched. It might not feel quite as premium after a few years of daily family use. Problem number 4 is performance. Look, we've kind of been trained by other EVs to expect that neck-snapping, instant acceleration off the line. The EV3 is not that. It is tuned for efficiency. The acceleration is smooth and totally fine for city driving, but it's really best described as adequate. Merging onto a fast-moving highway might not feel quite as confident as you'd hope. And this is the single biggest question mark hanging over the whole car. For the EV3 to be a home run in the United States, the price has to be perfect. If it lands above $35,000, if it doesn't qualify for federal tax credits, or if dealers start adding huge markups, its entire value proposition could just fall apart. It only works if it's genuinely affordable. So after weighing all that incredible hype against those pretty significant real-world considerations, let's put it all together. Let's figure out who should be seriously considering the Kia EV3. When you lay it all out like this, the choice becomes pretty clear, right? If you're a city or suburban driver, you mostly charge at home, and you care more about sharp, modern design than raw performance, this could be a fantastic first EV for you. But if you take a lot of long road trips, if you have to rely on public chargers, or you crave that sporty acceleration and expect premium luxury materials, you might actually find its compromises pretty frustrating. And that right there is really the heart of it. The EV3's greatest strength is also its potential weakness. It is not trying to be a supercar or a luxury lounge on wheels. It's trying to be a smart, sensible, practical electric car for the masses. It's realistic. And the answer to that really depends on what you need from your car, not what the hype tells you to want. So the question isn't just whether the EV3 is a good car, it's whether its reality is the right fit for yours. Thanks so much for joining this explainer.